Alright, so recently I saw some talk about Bing's AI image generator. I don't know if it just came out to like the general public or if there's some sort of other reason why I was seeing it brought back up, but I had some time to kill, nothing better to do, and I was getting curious, so I tried some prompts to see what would come out. The results are pretty interesting, so I thought I would share. The first prompt I fed was 2B Smash Bros. Render. And, like, this is pretty cool. Like, I guess the sword on sort of the top left corner is a little messed up, but besides that, I actually saved this whole set. It actually kind of happened kind of weird. Like, I got a message saying that it couldn't process or it was taking longer than it should, and I had to, like, wait 5 or 10 minutes. Normally I put in a prompt and it'll, only take like a minute max to generate. But like I said, the results were pretty good for this one. This is actually the only entire set. This is the last picture that was generated that I saved. So expectations going forward were pretty high. And unfortunately, it felt like it was mostly downhill from here. I almost feel like you see people sort of joke around about how the AI is probably best at generating anime waifus. That's just what it's seeing a lot of, and from my experience, I mean, it almost checks out. So this was the next prompt, well, sort of. So I essentially swapped out 2B for Commander Shepard, and this was the best result. I actually had to sort of specify further because when I first put it, it had like a Commander Shepard-esque silhouette smashing through walls. So then I changed it to Smash Ultimate, or Smash Bros. Ultimate, and a little more specific there. When I did that, for some reason, it just generated a bunch of general-looking people, not necessarily, or Commander-looking people, not necessarily Commander Shepard. So this was the third time. And honestly, like, if you get rid of, like, Toad and whatever the hell this thing on the left is, I mean, it's not too bad. It kind of looks like it comes from Star Wars The Clone Wars, almost. That looks like 3Z instead of N7. But this looks like kind of like a Smash-like pose, and it's generally close to Commander Shepard in general. I don't know, I like to think this, like, robot thing on the left is like some floating thing with 3 limbs. I don't know if it's supposed to be, like, have, like, arms and legs or just sort of like an animal on all fours. I mean, I could picture it being kind of a cool companion thing, maybe. That's something we'll see in the future and implemented in Smash with Commander Shepard. As for Toad, we'll come back to Toad. This isn't the last appearance of Toad. For my next prompt, I decided to go with another series I really like that probably has not too good of a chance of being in Smash, being Yakuza. This is a Goro Majima render, which I was really surprised because I didn't even put like Yakuza, like a dragon or anything. I just put Goro Majima, and it seemed very confused. Like, I feel like everything it generated was like a mesh of Kyu and Majima. And I kept this one in particular because of how ridiculous the knife looks, just holding it like that. At this point, I started trying Crash Bandicoot. I think I tried a couple different prompts. Like, I think at first it looked like horrible renditions of the Insane Trilogy box art. So I think I used like Smash Fighter Pass, Smash Roster, stuff like that. I kept 2 of them. This is the first one. Like I said, I only specified Crash, but I kind of like how you have Discount Pikachu over here with wearing like jeans or something. I could kind of, like, I'm kind of reminded of, I think, Pokemon Rumble a little bit. Like, they've tried some different styles with Pokemon. I can almost see this being a thing later on. You have this turtle thing that maybe it's trying to be Yoshi. It kind of reminds me of Tip Top. I feel like that comparison came in because I think this thing is supposed to be Banjo. This kind of reminds me of Amy Rose right here. on the top left, and on the top right, I don't even know what to make of that. It looks strangely familiar. I don't know. No, he looks very happy to be here. This is the other Crash one, and once again, I should have mentioned this with the last one, but Crash himself looks pretty good. I mentioned it wasn't our last time seeing Toad because we got this monstrosity over here. And yeah, 'cause this is the first time I've had this like blown up on my computer because I was doing it on my phone. I don't know, some of these remind me of like Skylanders characters. I've never played Skylanders, but I sort of imagine them being similar to some of these characters. And then you got these like weird other versions of Crash around here. This one got like all messed up with like the hand and the shoe or whatever. I guess with the blonde hair like that from a distance, you can maybe say it looks like Coco. I'm just noticing this like punching bag or boxing glove tongue thing. And then my favorite is these two Yoshis. We saw Yoshi maybe on that other one, and then I like how this one sort of has the body right, but the face is a little off. This one, the face is pretty good, but the body is like, I don't even know. It like looks like a cake, and then in the back it looks like some sort of like Jello thing or container with fruit. Like this just seems like some sort of nightmare, like party food or cake or something. This was the last of like the really wacky things it came up with. After that, I just tried some different stuff. I put in Smash Bros. Reboot logo, and this came up. Like I said, at this point, I was getting like, all right, you had your first couple laughs with the wacky nightmare character shit, but it was starting to get a little old. And then here, I mean, I guess there's still a little bit of it, but it's a little better. Like you can kind of make out some of this. Like this is in the right is probably supposed to be Peach. This up here in the top right is probably supposed to be like Samus. Maybe that's in like the bottom left supposed to be like, I don't know, maybe Captain Falcon. I guess this bottom right can maybe be Link or maybe Samus without her helmet. This is like another Toad-like thing here too. This in the top left almost reminds me, I think of the character's name is Orcane from Rivals. This in like the top right-ish area kind of reminds me of a Kirby villain. It at least do to put Mario and Sonic in the center, the two biggest mascots. They didn't, like something got messed up in between, but they're not that bad, I guess. But I could see this, like, I could see the potential. Like the logo is a bit unique. I don't know why they called it Rbot instead of Reboot. And like I said, the art style in that, like I can see this. I guess this could be a number of different ships right here, too, on the left side. Maybe it could be like a Metroid or something next to Peach. I don't know. Like, I noticed that where it seems to struggle is when it just starts throwing a bunch of random characters in, especially with something with various styles like Smash. But it's like, if it could eventually sort of figure out, like it figured out Mario and Sonic and Peach. If it could figure out like other characters and apply them to this style, this could have been pretty good. That was the last of the Smash ones. I tried some other random prompts. This is a throwback, I guess. I think Robot Chicken was the one that had the Grand Theft Mario skit. But yeah, I just put Mario in Grand Theft Auto. And the results were all pretty much the same. Like I think Mario was in different poses. The background was like a little different. And the cart was a bit different in each one too. Oh yeah, because I didn't even realize. Looks like Mario has like, is that? Yeah, that's 6. I can't tell on the left. No, that's 6 fingers. But just that like weird wave and smile in the world of Grand Theft Auto. Another one I tried, another mature game you don't imagine with Mario, I guess, but Neir Automata, except this is sort of the world's in sort of a ruined state, but for some reason they went with this like futuristic society thing again, which I find weird. I don't know why it's associating Neir with that. And just Mario, I mean, this actually doesn't look too bad, Mario himself, as 2B. It wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting something similar to Grand Theft Auto. I was kind of hoping it was without the cart, but I don't know, Mario in just sort of this ruined city or something. Something completely different, but okay. I tried some Fire Emblem prompts, and particularly didn't like I threw in a bit of a more of an obscure character with Yunaka from Engage, a newer character. But one of my personal favorites. I think I tried her in Smash and in Heroes, and it just didn't. It was just generating random Fire Emblem looking esque protagonists. So I don't know, maybe one of those could have looked like a future protagonist. But then I threw Zelda in Fire Emblem Heroes style. And I was wondering how it would turn out, like if it would maybe confuse Zelda and Link and what Zelda they'd pick. It was pretty much always this sort of champion-esque style, but this is a pretty good one. Like I said, the main focus in a lot of them turns out pretty good. But in this one, the background also works too. I can definitely picture this as like her attack art or something. I remember some of these were kind of cut off weird. Like around the waist where it didn't look like a portrait or like a full body shot, I guess you can call it. And it looked kind of weird. I remember one of the Majima ones turned out like that too. And plus they had like the Smash trophy stand at the bottom, which was pretty weird. I was thinking of some like rumored / discussed food Tekken guest stars, and I threw in Gordon Ramsay versus Colonel Sanders in Tekken, and this is pretty good, I think, too. I remember I tried them individually too, but at Ramsay they just showed like kicking the shit out of like food or different chefs, and Colonel Sanders for some reason each time he was like a toy figure, always next to like KFC. And the last thing I decided, instead of trying characters, let's try some hardware. So this is the PlayStation 6. I went with this since it was probably the easiest, since who knows what the next Xbox or Nintendo console will be called. I like at first glance with this one in particular, right here in like the left where you see this weird like symbol where the PlayStation looked like it should be. From a distance when I first saw it, I thought it looked like the Xbox X. Probably more close to like classic era, like from the very first one. But I mean, this could be an interesting design. Reminds me of a printer or like a scanner, which I mean, people have sort of made jokes about how the last couple PlayStations have looked like other shit anyway. So, and the Xboxes. This looks like a disk drive in front too. So take some notes, PlayStation. Hopefully that's something that carries over to the real one. And then after this, I had to try a prompt for PlayStation 6 controller, and they all turned out normal. And all the other like images generated from this prompt, it turned out normal. For those who haven't done this, it's like they give you like 3 to 4 each time you put in a prompt. But for some reason, this controller, this is the reason I kept this one in particular, because I just don't know how this works. And like this looks like it's attached, like this like sort of middle thing next to like what looks like a D-pad. And at like a distance, it kind of looked like a wheel. I thought it was like a Gran Turismo accessory. Maybe it can be like detachable or something. That could be like an interesting concept, but you don't really see any. Like right here, maybe this bottom part can be detached, but I don't see any like lines to indicate that. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like a PlayStation like Move or like Wiimote-esque situation, maybe. I don't know. Maybe these things sort of remind me of like, I forget what it was even called, but I remember Valve put out a controller which had like a weird alternative to a C-stick. And this kind of reminds me of that a bit, so maybe that's what it was going for. But yeah, it was certainly an interesting experience, a decent way to bullshit some time away if you have any ideas. I'm sure it'll get better. You can definitely see the potential. And yeah, hopefully they continue to, I don't know, see more competition pop up and in terms of AI image generators. Actually, I think the one I used for the Sakurai AI roster video, that one also generated images, but it was all in this like same style, and it was a lot more simplistic. But yeah, I just look forward to seeing, improvement with quality and all the other concerns people have with this.